It wasn't until year 2000 when the southwestern part of the U.S. had its first inclusion playground. An estimated 3,000 inclusion playgrounds exist in the U.S. That's only a fraction of what's needed. According to the National Recreation and Park Association, the greatest barriers are the cost and staffing. Insufficient funding accounts for about 60% of the reasons why we don't have more inclusion playgrounds in our community. Accessible services are managed are costly, and certain equipment makes inclusion playgrounds unaffordable for most communities. Liberty Swing, for example, costs between $30,000 to $40,000, not including the cost to operate. Oftentimes, wheelchair swings are kept locked behind fences due to lack of staffing. The greater problem is that it excludes the use from the rest of the playground. We concluded playground budget directly impacts the number of inclusion playgrounds in our community.
Thank you both. Now without further delay, ANCroid presents the Hope Playground!
The engineer team evaluated existing play structures and equipment and their safety certifications. Our goal was to find simple, budget-friendly, yet innovative ways to promote group play and inclusion. The Hope Playground features fully wheelchair accessible ramps and surfaces, like other inclusion playgrounds. However, what sets us apart is our group swing, which features 5 bird nests in a pentagon formation over there, which increases and promotes group play. Our special track was designed with tactile rails for the visually impaired to use as a guide. And our park boasts rubber surfaces so that wheelchair and walker users can be safe when they walk around the park. Also, for those with visual and sensory challenges, quiet and cozy areas are available.
Alright, so Finances team's goal was to keep the playground budget affordable and add a snack shop to generate revenue views for maintaining the facility. Based on our analysis, Hope Playground will cost approximately $200,000 to build. This is only a fraction of the cost, considering the budget for a typical inclusion playground. The Hope Snack Shop will be a place of vocational training and employment for the disabled while generating income to manage the playground. We also researched about grants and we found out about Kaboom. Kaboom is an agency that gives grants to build a playground for our community.
Outreach team learned if they build it, they won't come when it comes to inclusive playground. Partnership with local programs and agencies are just as important as building the playground itself. Hope Playground is surrounded by a wall of positive and inclusive messages. As we envision Hope Playground, we'll start a campaign of inclusion for surrounding communities.
Research team reviewed top 30 inclusion playgrounds from the U.S., Europe, and Singapore. We visited and reviewed online reviews for our very own Shane's Inspiration and LA. We reviewed case studies and the inclusion playground manual by industry leaders. We shared our idea with visitors at Shane's Inspiration, social workers at the regional center, and the disabled ministry at the ANC Church.
What does an inclusion playground mean to us as a community? Research shows 9 out of 10 Americans want inclusion playgrounds. You have to build more at a faster pace. An inclusion playground can give an impact of individual, family, and the community.
1, 2, 3.
Let's build a better community through inclusive play.
Wow, I love this. This is a great idea. And you're saying, excellent, thank you. And you're saying this exists. So this is something that that you see throughout the U.S. Yeah, I'm just reading some great stats on your board there. So you talked about ideas of funding it. Do you have a particular spot in your community that you like? Do you have a spot already kind of picked out?
Yeah, so at our church, there's a ministry called GM. It has disabled, and we have a big parking lot, and some of it not used, so we could build a inclusive playground right there in our playground, in our church, and the GM, which is for our disabled, we could help them and we could play with them there.
Okay, that's really, do you see that they're usually privately funded? I know you talked about grants. That was really interesting. So do you see that it's at churches or areas like that versus the city funding the playground?
Yes.
Generally?
Mm-hmm.
How did you come up with this idea?
So, our coach Jennifer, she works with this disabled people, and we just wanted to help them, and because they don't really get to play a lot because the playgrounds aren't inclusive and they're not accessible to them. And we just came up with this idea so they could also play like regular kids and like they could have friendship together.
I also want to add on, we went to Shane's Inspiration in LA and we picked up ideas, similar ideas, but some of our ideas were handmade by ANCroid here because they weren't allowed here in America.
Okay, so the way we got our, so not only did we use Coach Jennifer to like think of our idea, we also watched different, so we had homework. We had to research and we had to see what topics we had to cover. We wanted to cover this year, so we did that, and then we came up with this idea of an inclusion playground. We also watched a movie called Ian, and that's about like a disabled kid, and then how his struggles of like being included with other normal kids in the playground.
Can you bring your model up here? I'd love to
Yes,
see.
please.
I know you probably say would like to. Ah, okay. Can you see that? It's so interesting, huh? All the different rides. So how did you come up with the different rides? Is that some of it from other ideas from other playgrounds, I'm guessing, and things that you researched?
So we researched together as a team, and for example, the Liberty Swing is on the robotic snack, the one that swings.
Yeah.
And we heard through research, we figured out that it's not good because it's caged behind, it's caged and like no one could use it. So we invented a new.
Because like usually like when people rest, like they can't really see their kids because like they get like run far away, and also we have some walls that have like positive like words and
I like that.
and motives and also like we have like the wheelchair seesaw over there in like the under like the shade.
I also like to add on that the walls will actually surround the playground, and only the entrance will be open to prevent kids wandering away with strangers.
Ah.
And then the
excellent.
parents
Yeah,
will watch
it's
them
just,
see
you
the
can see
area
them.
over there to see their
Ah, okay. Oh, that's an excellent one to a robot. Thank
Okay.
you. We could talk about this for another 10 minutes. It's fascinating.
Alright, so this is our robot. We first started off with 4 designs of the robot, but we found out this is the best design. So in the beginning we had the wheels in the back, but we found out that if we had the wheels in the back, it wouldn't go straight and would like sometimes turn randomly. But since we have the robots in the front, it's more like stable and it adds more weight to like, it distributes weight everywhere and it goes straighter. We also use the large motor, a medium motor here, to make it move left and right. So here it can move like this. And we also use the large motor inside the brick to make it go up and down. This means that it can move cardinal directions.
Okay, so in terms of our code, so we don't have any sensor blocks, we don't have any math blocks. We only have motor blocks and weight blocks, but that's due to the fact that our robot's really accurate, and we would only use sensors to make the robot go straight and like be accurate. But since the wheels are in the front, we have no use for the sensors unless like we really need something to be precise, which we don't. The green blocks, as you can see, all these green blocks control motors. So it controls D motor, which goes side to side, and A motor, which goes up and down. And B and C are used to drive the robot. I'm not sure if you can see it, but okay. And then in front of all those green arrows, there's an orange block. It's a weight block, so that solved a big issue for us. When we pressed a button on the robot to play a mission, we would sometimes leave our finger on the button for too long. So then the robot would take off, but our finger would still be there. So it would kind of shift the robot. So with that half-second delay, it gives us time to take off our finger, and then the robot will go.
Thank you. And as you can see, we do have 4 trips. Trip 1, we use this attachment to attach to the bottom of the wall, and it would guide the self-built white structure to the black circle. We use this for the Liberty Swing because of its bendy design. It would go through the first wall of the Liberty Swing, but it would have enough force so that it would knock down the second pillar. We use this to attach to the back of the robot, and it would go down, and it would turn, and it would knock down the elevator. We use this for the traffic jam. It would go under it, lift it, and turn right, and it would stay. We use this to attach to this previous attachment, and it would give more space for the levers on the crane mission. We use this for the buildings, and it will guide them to the circle, but these walls will prevent it from moving too much when it turns. And finally, for this, we use this for chip 4 for the bridge, and these would allow so that it would support the flag if the robot itself didn't keep it in its position.
So how many missions can you do total?
I'm sorry?
How many tasks can you do on the game?
I think we did like 8 or 9 times. And then so far, our first round, we got 335 points.
Yeah.
That's great. How consistent is it? Did you go to a practice tournament? Did you
Yes.
have a,
Yes.
okay, so how consistent were you getting your points? Is it consistent?
So the practice tournament, our wheels were in the back, so it wasn't as accurate,
So you
but
switched that because of your performance. Excellent.
and
Okay.
now it's gotten more accurate,
Mhm.
and you could get more points back.
How did you decide which missions you wanted to do?
We chose our missions based on the modules. The modules we put on. So like we saw we first tested out which missions would be like the closest and the most points, but some of them were what's it called? They were far away, but then they were a lot of points. So we decided to do those too. But with this mechanism, we got a lot of work done, and during on the thing where you go up and the robot goes down and this goes all the way down. This really helped, and we decided for that to be the last mission.
So did you already talk about your sensors?
Oh yeah,
Yes.
sensors.
So how many, or do you want to explain them?
Yeah. So again, we did use them in the first practice tournament because our wheels, the robot wasn't accurate, so we would always line follow everywhere. But since we have that, we can just use the line follow to stop at a black line, let's say if we needed to. But we don't necessarily need to use the sensors now because the robot's really accurate.
Okay.
So what's your high score you're getting at home? Like what are you hoping for?
Around 400, I think.
Okay, so that's kind of your top.
Yeah. So we aim high.
Yeah, that's what you do, right? Okay, great. Any other questions? Or? Okay. Yeah, let's move on to core values. I see you have a poster, so.
Value Karis and I are representing is discovery. So this year I discovered many things such as how to code on an EV3 vid and to align on the field set.
I also learned to align in the field set and to code because I mostly learned things with Caitlin. And also, I also got better at art by doing project with the whole group.
On representing inclusion, we work together as a team and we use our differences to our advantage. For example, some people were inexperienced with handling the robot at first, but through a lot of time and effort, they were able to learn a lot this year, and they helped out with it.
Alright, so we impact what we learn to improve our world. So in the beginning, there was this children's hunger fund, and as a team, we went there and we packed 1,500 bags and sent it to the kids in need. And at our church, there was a Operation Christmas Child where we put toys in a box to send to kids, and we packed 600 bags of those. And we also spent several days making these bracelets to pass out to all the fellow teammates and to show cooperation and gracious professionalism.
Cooperation. Those are fun.
Also, we use teamwork and change inspiration while looking for people if they're interested in our projects and our home playground. Also, we went to Children's Hunger Fund and packed 1,500 bags for the poor and people who need them.
I would like to add on to that. At Shane's Inspiration, we basically presented our ideas to people who could possibly implement it in our society or in our community. at our church and see what kind of review they can give us, like what they want to see happen to our playground. And also we used teamwork when we had to code, because like our code wasn't very accurate again with the wheels, so then we would always have to recode, and then we would always use people to like code like over and over again, and everyone's ideas came in and it was pretty cool. But then now, yeah, we still use teamwork, and it's much easier because the robots not there.
The core value I'm representing is fun. While we innovate and work seriously, we also celebrate. We also have fun and celebrate our accomplished goals.
And then our group is innovative because we take each other's ideas to solve problems. For example, for the accuracy of our robot, the wheels in the back made it much harder to make it go straight. But using our group's ideas, we made it at the front to make it go straight.
Great. Anything else you want to add? We've got a minute.
Oh yeah. Right. So we have a water container like the sparklets, and then since we use batteries, we don't use the chargeable robots. And then there are some other teams that use batteries inside their brick. So then we have like a battery disposal thing, and then we want teams to come to us and then dispose their batteries there. Just forget about them.
Yeah, and recycle them.
It's a great idea. We go through so many batteries doing this sport, huh? Yeah. That's an excellent idea.
Do you want some of the bracelets? Because we had extras we passed out today.
I do. I think it's super cool. Thank you so much. That's awesome. Is it okay if we keep your notebook?
Oh,
Till and we can,
Yes.
just so we can look through it. I can see a lot of work went into this, so I want to take the time to do it. We'll give it back to you at the end of the competition.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.